you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. So for today we're going to be doing a workshop job I've been meaning to get off the list for a long time. We're going to be making a new shop-made tool, and it's going to be a bit of an upgrade for our line borer. What we're going to be making is a larger capacity tool support for our line borer. And the reason I need to make a new one is the ones that come standard with the machine, I'm noticing a few issues when I'm using it. It's worked up until now, but the problem is that the threads that are threaded into the main body, they're starting to stretch. I can feel them stretching as I'm tightening them up. So it's only going to be a matter of time until I pull the threads out of the body altogether and it lets me down. So because they're made from aluminium, it is quite a soft material. It's just not suited for the sort of work I do. If you were doing, say, a 1mm depth of cut for every single job, they'd probably survive just fine. Because I've got customers waiting for me to get stuff done, I like to take a lot more material out in a single pass, which saves me time, them money. The tool supports just aren't putting up with the punishment. And one of the other issues I've had with it in the past couple of weeks, it's slipping on the boring bar on the machine. And the way they're manufactured, you can't get any more clamping power against the boring bar unless you were to, say, machine a little bit off the bottom of the cap that goes onto it. But when you machine the bottom off the cap, it's then going to deform the tool and it's just going to end up with dramas later on. So rather than go through the effort of doing that, I'm just going to manufacture a new one. So you can see this is already out of shape a little bit. This doesn't fit anywhere near as good as it did when I first got it. One of the other issues with it is there's not a great deal of structure by using a clamping style system like that to support the outside of the tool. In the corners where the clamp sits, that is a weak point on both sides depending which end you're using for cutting. So I'm not going to be making a new one like this. This design probably works really well for your standard duty work, but the sort of jobs I do, they're pretty heavy duty, a lot of interrupted cuts. You do find issues with this style of tool. So we won't be manufacturing one like this, we're going to be manufacturing one of my designs. If you've seen our videos before, this will look familiar. This is our shop-made boring bar tool holder. It's very, very simple, they're very easy to make, and they're just 10 times better than the standard ones. You can add a lot of different features to these depending on what size tooling you're using, and these eliminate one of the biggest problems I have, and that is clamping pressure and tool rigidity. It is basically just a big overgrown clamp that wraps around the bar and is fastened by a single bolt. So this has worked great for all these smaller bores we do. About 150mm in diameter is about its maximum I sort of run it at, because any more than that and there's too much of the tool being left outside the holder and it ends up with vibration and a very poor surface finish. So we're going to make a bigger one. Current size of the one that I have already made is about 95mm in diameter, and the one we're going to be upgrading it to is about 140mm in diameter. So the piece of material, I believe it's going to be a piece of 1045, something like that. It is a mil scale finish, so it is just a black bar. It is a piece of 170mm in diameter and 70mm wide. It's way too big than what I need it to be, but I don't have anything narrower. Ideally, I just put this in my big saw and cut it in half. But at this stage, I don't have my big saw here. One of my customers, who actually owns the big Mazak, the V20, he has about 10 ton of material he needs to cut up over at his workshop. So rather than do X amount of truckloads to me of material, we did one truckload to him with the saw. I do have a smaller saw, but I'm not going to even attempt to try and cut this in that because it needs coolant and I don't want to put coolant in it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to remove at least half the thickness of this in the lathe. So we're going to go get this set up in the machine and start turning this thing to size. $18.5mm to take off. that bit. That's the material, not the insert. That'll do. Righto guys, so we've got the piece of material machined to the size I want on the OD and the thickness. I now just have to finish off the ID. I have machined it to within 0.2 of a mil of its finished size. Rather than try and achieve a perfect 40 mil finish with a boring bar, I'm going to take all the error out of it, so human error and stuff like that, and I have a ream that I use for doing such jobs like this. This is a Goering 40 mil ream made in Germany, so excellent quality. Righto guys, so all the turning work is done. I'll now take it over to the saw, I'm going to cut it in half, and the rest of the job's going to be done in the milling machine. Righto guys, so it's been a couple of days since we've done anything on our little project here. If you watch the news, you might have seen the amount of rain we've had here in Queensland over the past couple of days. The rain was that heavy, we couldn't do any more filming. Big thanks to all of our viewers that reached out to see how we were going here. We did end up getting a fair bit of water out the back. Out the back of our workshop is a bit of a swamp. A lot of the storm water from around the area will come here and then it'll travel out through the canals into the cane fields. So we were pretty lucky. Got a bit of water, but nothing to do any damage. But just a stone's throw up the road, there is a river up there that its major flood level is 5.5 metres. It peaked yesterday afternoon at 7.4 metres. So there's a lot of devastation in that area and there's a lot of water getting around. The sun's out today, things are starting to dry off, so we're going to get back onto our project. I have taken a skim pass across the top of that because I did cut it in the saw. You might have noticed a lot of sparks coming off the cutter while it was cutting that surface. The inserts are pretty dull. I wasn't going to go and flip all the inserts around for the sake of a couple of passes. The finish turned out pretty good, so we're going to leave that where it is. I did cut a 45-degree bevel on the back side of the job because that's where it's going to need clearance for our hinge. So now we need to find the center of the job and we're going to get into drilling some holes. So I'm going to tap that hole now. I'm not going to power tap it. I don't like doing that in a job like this. The risk of breaking a tap is just, I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to use my nice new Starrett tap wrench sent to me by James. He commented that I have a cheap looking tap wrench and he decided to buy me a good one. So thank you very much, James. And now you've started something, now I need to buy the whole set. Righto guys, so we've got everything completed on that setup. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take it out, we're going to deburr all the holes on the underside, and then we need to take it over to the press and square broach that 14mm hole. Right, so the way I've got this set up at the moment, I've got 4 parallels that I'm going to use to keep the broach square with the job. The hole we're going to be broaching, it's not going to be a fully formed square hole. It's only going to have the 4 corners that are going to be square to take a 12mm square tool. It will then also be able to take a 14mm round tool. Because this is a 150 ton press, you don't have a great deal of feel while you're pushing a broach through a hole. Every inch or so of stroke, I'll reset the press to make sure everything goes back to a neutral position, because it is very, very easy to break broaches and you don't have a great deal of feel with a machine this size. If I was to try and fully form that hole into a complete square, I would more than likely break the broach. The broach is about $600, so I don't want to break it. Righto guys, so we've completed all the drilling for the holes for our tool holders. So what we've done is we've drilled and reamed the 2 holes where the tool and the dial gauge stand goes. We've also drilled and tapped an M8 thread into the side of those for a grub screw to lock the tools or lock the dial indicator stand. The other hole's been countersunk with a 10.5mm hole in the bottom of it. The other side of the clamp is pretty much exactly the same, except it has got the square hole broached into it for the 12mm tool, and it has got a thread in it, an M10 thread, that the bolt that goes through the other half goes into. So the last thing we need to do for this is I need to drill the 2 holes in the hinge side of the tool support. I have got a 40mm arbor that I do use on one of my big facing mills, so I am going to use that to mock up where this is going to live, and then I can mark out those 2 holes I need to drill out to suit my chain link. Righto guys, so our tool support is now finished, so I am going to take it over and test fit it onto one of our boring bars. So that fits that 40mm bar perfectly. It's exactly what we were looking for. So when you compare our small tool holder to our largest one, it is going to offer a great deal more support to the tooling while we're trying to do some of those bigger bores. So one of the things I do when I make these tool holder supports, the hole that the tool goes through, I make it go all the way through the tool holder so I can run all my longer tools, and they can also go into the 12mm holes in the bar. I can then make the tool as long or as short as I need to. Where the standard Sur Mechanica tool supports, The tool pocket is only about 30mm deep. So in order to use it to its full potential, you need to have different tools at different lengths. So I've eliminated using 4 extra tools, which not only are these expensive, but cutting them up, they're never ever the right length for the next job. So if you are in line boring and you do have issues like this and you don't have the facilities to make yourself a new tool support holder, you can enhance this one just by doing a few small things. So what you could do is you could machine the bottom of the cap off to allow a little bit more clamping pressure, or you could machine a 5mm keyway in the bottom of the tool holder body or in the cap, and then you could use a piece of 5mm key steel to sit inside the cap or the body and then put it into the 5mm keyway that is machined into the bar. As it goes for cost to build something like this, I've obviously got all the equipment here, but in materials, if you were to get this, it might be between $50 and $80. The chain link was about $16, I think. That's really all the materials I needed to buy to complete the job, and all up, without the rain interfering with everything, it probably would take you about 4 to 5 hours to complete something like that. So that's one of my shop projects off the list. Everything turned out really, really well. The finished diameter ended up being about 150mm. You'll just have to keep your eye out for an upcoming job where we use this on our line borer.
Yeah.
Ready? Good. So we're going to make a bigger one. Righto guys, so that thing, the fucking flim flam doodad, it is greatly bigger. Greatly? It is
I can see when your brain just goes,
hit, I don't know how to say this bit.
you just said, let me say it.
Yeah, but I had a brain fart.
Oh my God.
So, fuck. It's not as easy as it sounds for you to just say this and get it righto. You could always do it.
I could.
No, you
I
couldn't.
could do a good job too.
You fucking bullshit, you wouldn't do a good job. So, yeah. Wait, how are we starting that? Which they... Fuck off. Fuck. Yeah, fuck, I fucked that up. By one bite and fuck me. Fucking shit. Right, ready?
Yes.
I'll just swallow that. So bad. So it's a multi-use hole. If I was to try and make that multi-use hole, that sounds bad. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to remove at least half the thickness of this in the lathe, but it beats doing it with a file.
Get a piece of sandpaper. How long would...
That's going to
See
take
ya in 2025.
Yeah.
eBay bottle.
Come on, little bottle. Nope. Oh, slow. Oh shit. Fucking shit house. What the fuck? Look at that fucking surface finish.
Oh, I thought it looked nice on that side. Is that not nice?
Not really.
Oh.
Fuck off, Rain.
Don't jump. Homie. Hey. On your bed.